think of the name Tom Lee, you could think Tommy Lee Jones, the actor. You could think the drummer for Motley Crue, Tommy Lee. Or you could think about a two-time state champion from Christian County. Sir, if you would, tell us who you are.
Well, I'm Tom Lee. I was wrestled at Christian County High School back in the 80s, probably all through the 80s. But, was a two-time state champ there and had some fun doing it.
And if you had to make me bet who would win in a fight between Tommy Lee Jones, Tommy Lee the drummer, and Tom Lee of Christian County, my money's going on you all day. Not even a second thought on that one. So, Tom, man, I've kind of lost count now how many Christian County wrestlers, Hopkinsville wrestlers that we've done so far. So we like to start off everybody kind of with the same question. What gets you into wrestling there in Christian County back in the 80s? What's the driving force? You're like, man, I got to be a part of this.
Well, I started wrestling quite young. So I was I lived in Pennsylvania at the time, and my brother started in second grade, and I was in kindergarten. And they went ahead and let me wrestle with them in kindergarten, and then so did that for a couple of years. So I was in I think third or fourth grade, and then we moved to Arkansas that didn't have the wrestling. So I kind of got away from it. And then in the sixth grade, when I was in sixth grade, we moved to Kentucky, and and we looked at, and we knew I wanted to wrestle, and my brother still wanted to wrestle, and so we ended up moving into Christian County School District, and ended up wrestling. Started the wrestling there, and never really looked back. I was just something that was in my nature.
Well, that's cool. Now, I believe correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure you probably will, but Andy Lee's your brother, right? 86
Correct.
State champion?
Yes.
And of course, if you're wondering, yes, we're going to be doing Andy's review video at some point as well. We just, of course, we have the 86 video, so I can't wait to get Andy on the channel. So I guess you wrestle all the way. Did you start on Christian County's, did you go to the high school practices or middle school, or how'd that work back then?
Well, yeah, actually, it was kind of funny. In 82, I think we had, who was it? Arnold, or Gary.
Arnold Slaughter won in 81.
Yeah, in 81. And Gary Bustle, Bustle, I believe his name was our starter that year. And he got hurt in 82. So when I was in sixth grade, we didn't have a backup. So they stuck me in there. My singlet didn't fit, and I really didn't know what the heck I was doing, but I got a lot of wrestling in that year. And then finally by the district and stuff, Gary was back, so I didn't wrestle in the district tournament in my sixth grade year. But then, then starting my seventh grade year, I was, from that point on, I started, as a matter of fact, in the seventh grade, I think I had to wrestle David Ritchie in the regionals.
Lucky you, huh?
Well, yeah, I ended up losing that one, which is not unheard of. And Dave was a great guy, but so I ended up not qualifying for state that year. And then, my eighth grade year, I qualified. I took fifth at state that year, and then my freshman year was a very disappointing year for me, but qualified for state was, I think, either had one loss or something going into that state tournament, and lost to a gentleman in the very first round that I probably shouldn't have lost to. I lost by 1 point to him, and kind of got disappointed with that, and then got knocked out. It was one of those situations where if he lost his next round, I was out, which did happen, and that guy was Ricky Fowler.
Ricky Fowler, I've got it actually pulled up here as we speak.
Yeah, so. And that was a heartbreak for me because I was thinking seeded number 1 or 2 in the tournament that year. So I was seated pretty high and then my sophomore year, did fairly well. had a kid from Fern Creek that I beat in my 8th grade year in the Russellbacks in the semis, and I think it's Adams.
Brett King.
Brett King, that's who it was. And Brett and I had a 2-1 match, and I put a Peterson on him right at the end. The ref didn't give me my points, but I lost that match, and I'll never forget because half the match stopped to watch that because it was kind of a really pretty good match. And so then went on to get third that year, which kind of another disappointing year for me. And
86, just so we can have it for reference, that was at 105 pounds. Third
Correct.
place at 105 pounds, y'all.
In third place in the 105s, from Christian County, Tom Lee. The runner-up for 1986 in the 105s, Blaine Hedges of Wagner High School.
So then finally by my junior year, I was able to get over the hump and win the tournament. And then my senior year, I was able to win it again. So very, very good, overall career. Had fun doing it. Started young. Got to, had a lot of really good partners and coaches along the way. Coming from Hoptown, you had Coach Perrin on my side, Coach Parent, Tony Harris on the Hopkinsville side. And, they opened the gym up to us where we could go over there and we work out with their team some. So we go in there, my brother and I would go in there and roll around, and the teammates we had at the time from my brother, Jimmy Perrin, Antonio Earthman, we had David Donnelly, we had Marcus Turnley, some others, Ed Deese and all these others, and a bunch of young pups like Alvin and Arnold and Cedric Davis and those guys were, we had a very good wrestling room to always push people and get better and everything else. So.
Oh yeah. And people don't understand, like, the sport of wrestling in Kentucky, man, it has grown in the last 3 years. The sport has really grew, but this year was our first year having a sanctioned girls state tournament. I couldn't tell you the number of elementary, middle school club teams that have popped up, number of schools just in my region that have started wrestling. But I say all that because one of the beauties of this series is giving people a history lesson, if you will, about the dynasties and who used to be on top and all this kind of stuff. And back in the 80s, Christian County and Hopkinsville, man, they were the show. From about 85 to about 89 Hopkinsville, their dynasty, if you will, went from 85 to 92, ended with Willie, all those guys on that team. Christian County, of course, you guys will talk about it more in 88, but like, if you guys didn't win, you guys won in 88, Hopkinsville was second place. I think it was 87. You guys come in second place. 85, 86. Hopkinsville
87. We came in second to Simon Kenton that year, which was, and then 86 was probably one of our better teams, but Hopkinsville beat us out that year.
So just in one county, 2 schools, was the king of Kentucky wrestling. And just like some of the names you talked about earlier, you had Antonio Earthman, 86. You had Gator Herring, Aaron Herring, Roger Holloway. Just some of these names, some of the history.
Eddie Persons. Jared Troy Dailies.
Yep, absolutely. Troy, of course, won it in 86. Just phenomenal wrestling. And I'm sure you, of course, probably know this, but Hopkinsville and Christian County, they're going to be consolidating into one school. So just imagine if you guys had been on had the same one school back then, you guys would set some incredible. You may have had
that would have been. We had a brutal wrestling room already. You
Yeah.
think that if you combine those two, oh my goodness, there would have been blood every day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Talk about needing some people to fill some spots. But let's talk about your 1987 state tournament here. You start off, of course, it was an 8-man bracket that year. That year, Kentucky had semi-states before the you had
They
district.
did that for 2 years. Yeah.
Yep. And to this day, I can't get a straight answer on why. I've asked people, and it's always I heard this or hearsay or that's not admissible, Your Honor, objection. So don't really know why there was a 2-year gap of doing the semi-states. I don't know. Now, for those of you new to the sport, you're probably coming in with the semi-state because of the pandemic. There was no pandemic in 86 and 87. I don't know why there was semi-states back then, but nevertheless, you start off the tournament with a 11-1 decision over Troy Adams of Fern Creek. You move on. You wrestle Paul Long of Simon Kenton. You win that by a fall. And you're coming into the finals with a record of 33-3. Just for the record, Long goes on to get 3rd place this year. So you're in the finals. You're wrestling Judd Hendricks from Louisville Wagner. Now, had you wrestled Judd before?
I believe I did at the Wofford tournament.
Okay.
Wofford County. I beat him. I believe I wrestled him there. I could be wrong, but I believe I did in that tournament. I'll have to go back and check.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's cool. Now, one of the beauties of this series, of course, is having the video, getting the DeLorean, take the time machine back, watch yourself, and we have the face-off, we have the match video, and we have the medal ceremony. But my first trip to Hopkinsville, when I went down, I only had like 15, 16 years of the state finals that I'd been able to. I started the series in January of 22. I went down to Hopkinsville. I believe it was April or May of 22, somewhere in that time frame. And 87 was one of the years that I had. And, when there was probably 100 people or so down in that community center. I forget the name of it. I'm sure Livingston or Tony or one of them. It was like in the bottom of an old library there in town. I can't remember the name of it.
I don't know. I forget the name of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I'm sure Tony or Livingston will message me with it. But after we got done with everybody, they was like, oh, who else you got? Christian County. Who else you got? Hopkinsville. And I was like, oh, I've got 87. Oh, you got Tom Lee's video? Put on Tom Lee's video. We've never seen it. So everybody was gathered around the TV, watching your match. And I was like, man, I can't wait, to get him on the channel. And here we are. This is the 17th of April, 2024. So, man, all these over about 2 years later, man, we finally get to have you on here. So we're going to pull it up, and we are at Atherton Gym in Louisville. This is your, of course, 119-pound weight class this year. Now, before we hit the play button, I got to ask, after the semifinals, you win. Coming off the mat, are you excited? Are you nervous? Talk to me about, being in the finals.
Oh God, I'm thankful. I was finally over a hump that I've been trying to get over for a couple of years there. So yeah, I was very, very thankful, and that I didn't choke, to put it mildly, in the state tournament. I seem to be always when I stumbled. So
no, I got you. Well, has it been a while since you've seen this?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, it's been probably almost 30 years. So this is going to be. I don't know if I recall half this match. So
all right, man. Well, we've talked about it enough. Let's do it.
Absolutely.
And 119 from Wagner in the 12th grade with a 40-2 record. He was 4th last year at 119. Judd Hendricks.
Cool. Darren over there on the other side.
The 11th grade with a 33-3 record.
Oh no, he's on this side. There he is.
105, Tommy Lee.
I love those old school warm-ups, man.
I was about to say, yeah, those were a pride and joy.
Absolutely. And of course, it picks up right at the whistle. So, of course, you're in the dark blue singlet. From neutral at this point of your wrestling career, what was your go-to takedowns? What were we looking? Oh, there's a good snap.
Yeah, I forget. I think one of the card guys taught me that at a camp. That little snap down. I kind of liked it, but I used to do a lot of ankle picks, a lot of ties, duck unders, those type of things.
Mm-hmm. There you go. You shoot
Outside.
in, he's able to stuff it. And you'll see it later on in the video, but Christian County, man, they've got a massive fan section here this year.
Well, our mat maids were phenomenal, and they would cheer you on. We didn't have to have a fan; they would cheer you on and be louder than anybody else.
Yeah. I think every Christian County and Hopkinsville video that we've done, they've all brought up their mat maids, both teams.
Yeah, they both had phenomenal mat maids.
You're able to fight off a takedown attempt there. Really good wrestling. He's trying to lift. You're keeping your hips heavy.
I wish I'd countered that different. But golly, that's critiquing myself. It's not the best way to counter.
You get a takedown.
Yeah.
And the referee in me's watching this, and the refs aren't wearing the red and green wristbands.
Yeah.
In the team race, Simon Kenton had Jeff Everman, Chuck Reimer, and David Barnes in the finals. Of course, had you and Donley in the finals as well. So the team race, 2-horse race there.
Yeah, well, I think Darren Parker was in this one, right?
Okay.
Or no, this was Donnelly. This was Donnelly. Darren did it next year. That's why I couldn't see.
Yep.
But
now on the bottom here, you've done a set out, trying to do like a I think they call it now a Gazzoni, reaching through. You hit a Peterson, but nothing yet. No points have been earned.
I need to go to the belly here. I don't know why I'm still trying to hold on to that thing.
There you go. So that's a good call by the ref there with that on that arm. That's a good call. That was a good reversal on your part, though. Now you're going to get some time to ride here. Are we a bar series, a wing series, looking for a half? What are we doing here on top?
I try and break them down. I'm not afraid to throw legs in, ride with the legs a little bit. Just try and take what's available there. I think I was trying to get legs in on this gentleman, just to ride them out and break them down a little bit. So
I can see that you've got one boot in there.
But, yeah, I didn't ride it. I wasn't riding properly, but I did like to ride. I learned in college how to ride them a little bit better. But,
yeah. Listen to those mat mates. They've not stopped the whole match.
Yeah.
You're able to follow that there, as they call it nowadays, following it.
Yeah. This was a fun match. I don't remember riding him this much, but I guess I did. So there you go. Post and go the other way there.
Of course, I guess the previous year you'd watched your brother win, and you're like, "There's no way I can let my big brother outdo me," right?
That's right. He was. Yeah, you can't let my brother outdo me. Yeah, that's exactly right. But the good thing is, I think my brother, I don't know if it was this year or the next year, he was in my corner. for the finals, which was really cool and then special. So he was wrestling at Clemson at the time and was able to come up. So. I do remember this gentleman being pretty strong. He was a pretty strong kid.
I believe the score right now is 4-0. Takedown and reversal on your part. You got a half in there. All right, that's the end of the second period.
Okay.
And he's going to take down. Did you remember busting your lip or like your nose? You've checked it 2 or 3 times. You remember that?
Yeah, I probably did bust it. No, me. But, no, this
No,
was
I'm just curious because some guys can be like, yeah, I cut it and I can still feel it in my mouth today, or however it happened, but didn't know if you remembered it or not.
I don't. I'm sure. A lot of times I would get busted up. It's fine.
It's part of the territory, ain't it?
Part of the beast. Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let go of it, belly down. Let go.
Yeah, I need to let go of that.
So he got a reversal on you right there. Were you cognizant of the score when he done that?
Yeah, I knew the score. This was a very. I was very cautious in this match more than I normally am.
Yeah.
Kind of clear the wrist a little bit.
And just a couple matches before this, we talked about David Donnelly earlier. You had watched him get pinned by Jeff Everman right out of the gate.
That's right. Yeah. And David won it the year before, I believe.
Yep. That is
he won
correct.
it with my brother that year. My brother won it. Yeah. And it was a shame David lost that match. It was. Yeah. I guess they called a stalemate there.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so you're moving pretty good on the bottom.
Yeah, I don't need to reach back. Don't need to leave my arms hanging, but oh well, I did it.
Yeah. Yep. Put that in your notes, kids.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Quit reaching over the head. I used to like to hook that elbow and do a Peterson off that, but.
And that's it, man. You win by final score 4-2.
Yeah.
1987 119-pound state champion.
Yeah.
Now, what was crazy is they took you guys over here to the corner and done a photo, and look at that Christian County section right there.
Yeah. I still have that photo.
You guys send me a copy of it. Like, send it to me.
Okay. Yeah, I can.
Because coming up next right there, that's David Barnes and Mark Ullman from St. Xavier.
Yep.
Here's the
David Barnes.
Ceremony.
David Barnes and I wrestled on the Kentucky freestyle team that went out to Iowa with Joe Carr.
Okay.
Coaching. So I don't know which summer that was, but either I think it was my junior year that summer. We all got together and got to go out to Iowa together. And I think Joe Carr's son, Joe Carr Jr., I guess, was traveling around with us and everything else, which was really cool.
Yeah, of course, you probably know about Joe, 4-time state champion in the 90s, one of the best ever to come through the state. But we went to Mark's house in Louisville and done his review video. And of course, we done Dave's 1988 review video up at his up in since the Florence area where he lives. So we've got all bases of that covered. 87, man, was a great year of wrestling. We've done Lawrence Woodford from Fern Creek. We've done Dominic.
Heavyweight.
Of course, now you, Jeff Everman, Mark Ullman. I'm sure I'm leaving somebody else out. Dominic Black, if I didn't say that already, but just a phenomenal year. And, you know, you said earlier it's been a day or two since you've seen it, but did anything play out differently than the way you remember it in your memory?
No, actually, well, I was just, I thought I was pretty sloppy out there, but that's just my critiquing now that I coach a little bit and do some other things. I was like, oh man, kind of embarrassing.
I think just about everybody that we've met with that's been removed, more than 2 or 3 years, they'll watch it and they'll be like, oh my God, I can't watch this. They'll peek around. I can't believe I'm doing this. How did I not get pinned right there? And I'm like, man, it was good enough to win. What does it matter? But it's great, man, having the video, getting, let you watch it. Now you can have it forever in the Christian County. Everybody that, knows you and was wrestled with you or wrestled against you or whatever, they'll have it forever. But we said in the first part of the video, you're a 2-time state champion, 1987 and 1988. So I think we've reached a great ending point here on the 87 video. We are going to end this one here. Be sure to watch Tom's 1988 review video. We'll see you guys in 1988.